Finds Beaumont residents beware what could happen if you don't follow the rules as leaders continue to try and flatten the curve. Southeast Texas Christians are entering Holy Week in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. So how are churches finding creative ways to hold services while social distancing? We'll show you.
A little bit of light rain moving across, more scattered showers this weekend.
Fox 4 News at 9 starts now.
Good evening, Southeast Texas. I'm Tiffany Murphy. Tonight, the phone line to get tested for COVID-19 remains open. That hotline receiving 147 calls today, conducting 82 tests in Jefferson County. In Hardin County, 78 tested in the drive-through there. Now, before you do get tested, you must get approval first by calling that number on your screen, 550-2536. Another large increase, though, today in those COVID-19 numbers in just the past 24 hours. The numbers released for the 6-county area, including Jefferson County, show 94 cases, an increase of 17 from yesterday. The death toll remains at 3. There are 50 cases in Jefferson County, 19 each in Hardin and Orange, 3 in Jasper County. Newton has just 1 case, and Tyler has 1 as well. County judges and mayors are taking action tonight trying to reduce the spread of coronavirus by extending their public emergency orders. Jefferson County Judge Jeff Brannick updating his public emergency order, extending it to May 1st, and Judge Wayne McDaniel also continuing the Hardin County emergency order until at least May 1st as well. And then in Beaumont, Mayor Becky Ames tacking on an extra week to the city's emergency order. Mayor Ames also increasing fines against folks who violate those rules. Fox 4's Ian Chris reports on one of the areas the city is targeting.
City parks normally filled with families during the spring. Not now, not during COVID-19. And that's fine with city leaders.
We originally wanted to leave the basketball courts open because we wanted families to be able to play if they wanted to, but we're really not seeing that. It's more people congregating.
The city has put netting over the basketball courts and blocked off the playground equipment to cut down on large groups.
And that's really dangerous because not only are you close together, but you're touching each other, you're hitting each other, and that's for everyone's safety.
Not playing it safe can cost you. In her amendment disaster declaration, Beaumont Mayor Becky Ames has set the potential fine to $2,000 for those who violate the rules, including the ban on using playground equipment. Beaumont Police will monitor and issue costly citations if needed.
What our police department is doing for the most part is asking people first if they see something, to do what they should do. But if we continuously have people not doing it over and over and over, then that is an option.
An option the city won't have to use if everyone listens to this message.
Stay home, y'all. Please stay home. That's what we need you to do. That's best for everyone involved, including yourself and others.
In Beaumont, Ian Chris, Fox 4, working for you.
The mayor says she is planning a virtual meeting next week. She says council will more than likely meet through a video chat instead of in chambers. Also tonight, Port Arthur's Mayor Thurman Barty extending the city's disaster declaration until at least April 30th. We are learning more tonight about a woman in Nederland that could face criminal charges after first responders say she left her apartment and risked exposing others to COVID-19 after she knew she had COVID. Police Chief Gary Porter tells Fox 4 the woman was released from a hospital after she tested positive for the virus. Now, the chief says that woman left her carriage house apartment on Nederland Avenue Wednesday. She was outside and she fell down. Fire and EMS responded, and Porter says that woman told them she tested positive for COVID-19. They told her to go back inside and remain in isolation. They say she didn't fall because of COVID. First responders contacted Chief Porter. He told us police are investigating and could take the case to the district attorney. If she's charged with violating that emergency order, she could face up to 6 months in jail or up to a $1,000 fine. Christians are preparing for Holy Week while confronting this new world we live in, a worldwide pandemic. Easter Sunday is one of the most attended days in church, but COVID-19 changing that this year. The deadly virus forcing houses of worship to think outside the box and come up with creative ways to keep the faith among their congregation. Beaumont's Catholic Diocese is promoting domestic church, encouraging parishioners to stay at home and rely on technology to receive the word of the Lord. We dropped by St. Anthony Cathedral Basilica in downtown Beaumont during a dress rehearsal for an unprecedented Easter Mass. Bishop Curtis Guillory says the diocese will stream Holy Week services online, and on Easter Sunday, Mass will be televised on our sister station, KFDM. It starts at 11:30 Easter Sunday that morning. Bishop Guillory says the faithful should use this tough time of social distancing to pause and look inward.
Hopefully, these things that we take for granted that are necessary will have a much more deeper meaning and purpose, which I think is going to increase the meaning of life, the purpose of life, and give a richness that many times we do not have.
Also on Easter Sunday, Cathedral Church hosting a drive-in service in the parking lot of Ford Park. It's open to the entire community, but if you do go, you have to stay in your car, roll down your window, still create that social distance between the cars. That service begins at 10 a.m. It'll last about an hour. Restroom facilities will not be provided, and of course that's because they tell us they will be maintaining safety. President Trump tonight encouraging Americans to wear face masks if you go out in public. This as small businesses can officially now apply for relief loans. Jobless numbers, though, continue to soar tonight. Fox's Lauren Blanchard is in D.C. with the latest on the administration's response to the outbreak.
Discipline now in following the public health measures that are being urged will help keep this short.
The Labor Secretary trying to calm long-term economic fears after the Department of Labor's March jobs report showed 4.4% unemployment and the loss of 701,000 jobs. And that data was taken before the historic layoffs in the last 2 weeks.
There's a lot of financial hardship at this moment as we take the measures that we need to defeat the virus.
What investors are really watching are two things. One is they're trying to figure out when is that reopen date. And two, they're watching how do these relief programs roll out in the meantime.
With no end in sight for the coronavirus outbreak and as cities gear up to face what New York is dealing with now, the administration, along with the CDC, is now asking all Americans to wear a face covering whenever they leave their homes.
The virus can actually be spread even when people just speak, as opposed to coughing and sneezing.
In Washington, D.C., new drive-through and walk-up testing sites are popping up. The mayor is predicting the peak of coronavirus cases may not hit the nation's capital until early July.
This is certainly a global pandemic of proportions that none of us could have predicted. But we will get through this.
Friday marked the first day small businesses can get a loan through the Paycheck Protection Program, which is part of that massive bill Congress passed. So far, community banks are the most involved. The first major bank to get its system up and running is the Bank of America. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
As for mask use, the president stresses that the recommendation is optional. Another medical device we didn't really even think about a few months ago is tonight in short supply. We're talking about thermometers. Fox 4's Joy Addison reports the shortages are causing a Southeast Texas medical supply company to consider some pretty difficult decisions.
The fact that we can't really get what everybody is wanting right now, it doesn't help.
As the number of positive COVID-19 cases across the nation continue to rise, those keeping watch over their health are taking matters into their own hands. And now with a shortage of wanted medical supplies, medical supply companies say their hands are tied.
It started off with masks, then after that it followed hand sanitizer, antibacterial soap, and the latest was thermometers, and then now gloves, which I have, but in shortage.
Frank's Medical Mart says one item more to the list, thermometers.
That's when people were starting to become essentials, and a lot of jobs were doing testing on them. I know a lot of places are doing different procedures as far as how they're checking people's temps. I know so like refineries, they were checking them twice per 12-hour shift towards the end and the beginning of their shift to see if their temperature changed.
The shortage is taking a toll on medical supply sales companies like Frank's Medical Mart, and it could force the business to make a tough decision.
We are definitely slowing down. Everybody's hunkering down at home, so no one's really coming in here. So right now we've been taking care of all of our repeat customers, ostomy, catheters, and continence, because there is a high possibility that we could be shutting down for about a month.
One of many industries trying to survive the war on COVID-19. In Beaumont, Joy Addison, Fox 4, working for you.
Frank's Medical Mart says they are continuing to provide essential medical items to their regular customers during this time. It's spread across the world and it's causing a global pandemic. But what is a coronavirus and where did COVID-19 originate? Mandy Gaither has more in today's Health Minute.
It's called novel coronavirus because it's a new, previously unidentified coronavirus. Like coronaviruses before it, it can live dormant outside a host's body. Once touched or inhaled, it uses proteins to latch onto and invade human cells. Then it makes copies of itself and heads into the bloodstream with the goal of invading more cells. This sort of virus is less stable. That leads to mutations, which can lead to the virus spreading between species. More and more mutations allow the virus to spread easily. So where did it come from? According to a study published in January, bats share most of the same genetic makeup as the novel coronavirus, but since it isn't an exact match, it's likely a bat had to infect another species, which then infected humans. While there's been a lot of research on which animal that could be, at this time, scientists don't know. Right now, what we do know is that being infected by the novel coronavirus can lead to a dangerous respiratory disease called COVID-19. Symptoms include fever, a deep, dry cough, and shortness of breath. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Early reports suggesting the novel coronavirus came from snakes bought at a market in China. Those were debunked, though. Scientists are continuing their research tonight. Countries race to secure medical supplies as coronavirus cases spike. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palcock has more from London.
Global coronavirus cases have surpassed 1 million, and health officials expect that number to rapidly increase as testing becomes more widely available. The high number of cases is overwhelming healthcare systems, leaving a shortage of medical equipment and protective supplies. And it's leading to competition among countries for masks and face shields to protect those on the front lines.
Just do what you can to protect your health care staff, because we are no good when we're lying on the bed next to our patients.
The coronavirus death toll surpassed 30,000 in Europe's hardest hit countries, including Italy, France, and Spain. Those regions account for more than half of the world's virus-related deaths. Countries are converting places, including markets and ice skating rinks, into morgues as other facilities reach capacity. But recent numbers provide a glimmer of hope, with signs that the curve is flattening in some regions.
We know that this is much more than a health crisis. We're all aware of the profound social and economic consequences of the pandemic.
Meanwhile, countries not yet past their peak have increased social distancing measures. Swedish officials have faced criticism for keeping businesses open during the pandemic, even as cases spike. Hospitals in the area are racing to increase bed capacity if things get worse.
We're continuously pushing the boundaries here, and is there a roof? Obviously, but we haven't hit it yet.
The World Health Organization warns countries that quickly lifting the lockdown could further the spread. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Still ahead, neurosurgeons and engineers forming the perfect team tonight, creating a mask that can be reworn multiple times. How it's being created so quickly. And meet the team who volunteer to run into burning buildings for free. And tonight, how they're changing their plan in case one of their own gets sick.
We have a little bit of light rain moving across the area right now, more scattered showers, and then some heat returning to the forecast next week.